The relaunched Financial Times is the premier business newspaper in Tanzania. The Financial Times is a weekly source of information and business insight for the most successful leaders, executives, investors, and entrepreneurs in Tanzania and throughout the East Africa region. We provide critical business insight and in-depth features on companies, people, strategies, ideas, and economic trends. The Financial Times offers an unrivaled platform for advertisers to enhance brand awareness and move products. We will enable you to reach confident and informed consumers and decision makers who are ready to buy, which includes company CEOs, CFOs, managers, entrepreneurs, policymakers in government, politics and civil society, diplomats, members of the academia, and other key influencers. See examples of advertisement opportunities featured in Financial Times T sections below. Telecom sections, real estate section, company news, banking, finance and insurance industry, information technology, national, regional and global markets overview, motoring, lifestyle. Get your copy of Financial Times for only 2,000 Tanzania shillings only.
Capital News tonight. Government bans mining activities at Mwabomba gold mine. Residents in Burundi concerned on the green tinge of Lake Tanganyika. 8 athletes to take part in the half marathon competition. Good evening, this is Capital News at 9:30. My name is Vanessa Victor. Let's get started with the national news. The Kahama District Government has halted all mining activities at Mwabomba gold mine following the death of one small-scale miner and injuries sustained by 3 others after soil caved in on them. At the mine in Ushetu Municipality, Kahama District, some miners took part in the rescue operation carried out by the police force. They called on the government to establish security forces in the area to facilitate rescue operations.
There is a need for emergency and rescue services to be near. It is no good when help has to come from far, so that when there is an emergency, help gets here quickly. We've decided to stop mining in mines in this area so inspection can take place. I shall be back, and it will be wrong for operations to resume when I have not given the go-ahead. The issue on security is for all of us. There has been cases where lawbreakers have turned mines as a hiding place from the police. Please report anyone acting suspiciously to the police.
A container of food, medicine and medical equipment has been seized at Tarakea along the border of Kenya and Tanzania in Rombo District, Kilimanjaro region after entering the country without being inspected. A drugs inspector from Tanzania Food and Drugs Authority in Northern Zone, Furaha Nyunza, said that the goods were seized inside a vehicle which was abandoned by the driver and the owner, who managed to escape.
Kwa ujumla, kwa upande wa thamani yake bado hatuja establish kwa sababu bado wenyewe
We have not been able to tell the exact value because no documentation has been presented to us. We shall either do so ourselves, or if when they show up and we are able to tell the real value. The problem with drugs is that once they enter without following the right procedures, is that they leave the market the same way, meaning that the government will lose revenue. We were conducting a special operation with the help of TRA and law enforcement authorities and discovered that a consignment containing drugs had entered the country without having been certified by TFDA through Tarakea border. This operation was run for 3 days, whereby a lorry with registration number T858DDU was discovered and had a consignment of drugs for various uses.
Vice President Samia Suluhu Hassan has said that every district council must plant 1.5 million trees as directed in order to address the problem of environment destruction caused by human activities, which has resulted in some areas lacking adequate rainfall. Vice President Samia Suluhu Hassan made the statement after touring a tree nursery planted by Tanzania Forest Services TFS at Munzeze village in Buhigwe district.
My dear fellows, you light a lot of fires without caring how far the fire spreads. The truth is that every time you light a fire, you destroy the environment. I urge all of you, for areas that you do not use on the hillside, please allow trees to be planted.
Entrepreneurs in the country have been urged to have confidence that they can bring about development by creating and using investment opportunities in the country. The executive chairman of IPP, Dr. Reginald Mengi, gave the advice in Dar es Salaam when he met with entrepreneurs from entrepreneur organization EO Tanzania branch, who had invited him to share his entrepreneurship experience and on the book he has written. He said that Tanzanians need to believe that their efforts can empower them economically at a time when President Magufuli is sensitizing on investment, particularly in industries, after improving the investment climate. During the occasion coordinated by the chairperson of training, Miranda Neyman, Dr. Mengi also signed copies of his book, which were bought by the entrepreneurs who are owners of various companies. Minister for Land.
It's like abusing God. You say you didn't give me power, but we've got so much power. The other thing is this: if you say I can, even if you don't know the way to do it, your mind, your brain is going to work very hard to look for a solution. But if you say I can't, your brain is going to go to sleep. He doesn't believe me, or she doesn't believe me. You won't be able to do anything. There's nothing you can do if you say I cannot, I can't. But there's so much you can do when you say you can. That's why some people said we can go to the moon, and then they went. Some people are too worried, too scared even to cross the street.
Na ili kuweza kukua na kuelewa zaidi namna ya kuishi na kufanya biashara.
To do well in business, it is important to get advice from our elders gone before us. Today we've called Reginald Mengi to come and talk to us so we can exchange ideas from his book. I ask all of you to read the book, as it has a lot that can help you, whether you're a businessman or an ordinary citizen.
The Minister for Land, Housing and Human Settlement Development, William Lukuvi, has revoked certificates of customary ownership of all farms which have a land surface area of more than 50 acres in Lepruko Ward, Munduli District. Speaking in Engaroji village while on tour of areas affected by land conflicts, Minister Lukuvi said that the provision of customary land ownership certificates for portions of land which have a surface area of more than 50 acres to only one person is against the land law of 1999.
It is forbidden for anyone to be given a title deed for land more than 50 hectares, even if it is your own land. You can still be using the land, but when it comes to confirming ownership in the title deed, all villagers must sit together in a meeting and confirm ownership of the 50 hectares, then a clan-based deed shall be given. If it is more than 50 hectares, then a communal title deed shall be given. There are people who have given themselves land without following proper procedures. We sat together and decided that those with big pieces of land should have them reduced so we can have some land for grazing, and those with no land to farm to have a share. Some agreed and some did not.
The government has tabled in Parliament a bill calling for amendments on a law that will oversee private-public partnership PPPs of 2018. The bill is calling for amendments to the law in order to remove any obstacles to a proper assessment of the exact number of private-public partnerships. The bill was presented to the House by the Minister of Finance and Planning, Philip Mpango, who said that the law has not provided enough room for private-public partnership.
This proposal is meant to give the ministry in charge of PPP the right to see how it is run with regards to policy and regulations. It is also proposed that amendment is made on the title from experts on a partnership between the private and public sector to a steering committee. This will see projects completed on time. But secondly, the private sector will be involved, meaning that the people will benefit because the money will now get to them.
A vehicle of Tanzania Revenue Authority in which the Commissioner General of the authority, Charles Kicheri, was in, has been involved in an accident at Ilazo area in Dodoma. The car with registration number STL 596, which was being driven by Peter Kanji, collided with a Suzuki car with registration number T466BGF belonging to Paul Luisile, a lecturer at the University of Dodoma. The police commander of Dodoma, Giles Mroto, said the accident occurred when the driver from TRA was overtaking another car and collided with the Suzuki. In the incident, no one was injured. President Dr. John Magufuli has implemented a pledge he made of contributing 40 million shillings for a fish project being implemented by Tanzania People's Defense Force Camp 27KJ Makoko in order to construct 10 new fish dams. The pledge was handed over by the President's Secretary Ngusa Samike to the head of the camp 27KJ in Mara region, Lieutenant Colonel Juston Mshashi. Present to witness the handover was the Chief of the Defense Forces, General Venance Mabeo.
We thank the Honorable President. This is a clear indication that the work we are doing is beneficial to the government, like the launching of the investment center with various projects such as on water, tailoring, amongst other projects. We are confident that he will be supporting us in other projects too. We need the people to support us in our projects as the army, but also as a nation.
Prime Minister Kassim Majaliwa said that Tanzania still faces a problem of diseases caused not by adhering to good nutrition regulations for children under the age of 5. He made the statement when launching the 5th meeting of nutrition stakeholders in Dodoma.
Bidhaa ilikuwa tunahitaji kuanzisha viwanda vitakavyozalisha vyakula.
It is clear that there is a need to start up factories that shall produce food products that have added nutrients so that our people's health can improve. I would like to ask the Ministry of Trade and Industry and local government authorities to make sure that all industries built in our areas that specialize in food manufacturing have nutrients added in products made.
And that is all for national news. International news follows next.
The relaunched Financial Times is the premier business newspaper in Tanzania. The Financial Times is a weekly source of information and business insight for the most successful leaders, executives, investors, and entrepreneurs in Tanzania and throughout the East Africa region. We provide critical business insight and in-depth features on companies, people, strategies, ideas, and economic trends. The Financial Times offers an unrivaled platform for advertisers to enhance brand awareness and move products. We will enable you to reach confident and informed consumers and decision makers who are ready to buy, which includes company CEOs, CFOs, managers, entrepreneurs, policymakers in government, politics and civil society, diplomats, members of the academia and other key influencers. See examples of advertisement opportunities featured in Financial Times sections below. Telecom sections, real estate section, company news, banking, finance and insurance industry, information technology, national, regional and global markets overview, motoring, lifestyle. Get your copy of Financial Times for 2,000 Tanzania shillings only.
And in international news, the government of Burundi has allayed the fear of residents that the water of Lake Tanganyika, which is turned green, is not contaminated, but that it is an indication that the fish species are increasing in the lake. Residents living near the lake have said that many of them use the water for domestic purposes. On his part, the Minister of Agriculture, Livestock and Environment, Deogride Rurema, said that the water has been tested and proven to be safe for use.
After some investigation, it was discovered that the color in the water is just on the surface. However, the change in the color has made fishermen very happy because it is a sign that there will be plenty of fish. We ask the people to keep using the water as it is not harmful.
Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed and Eritrean President Isaias Afwerki opened the frontier at Bure on Tuesday, a region that saw some of the fiercest fighting during the 1998-2000 war. Tensions over the border burned on after the fighting ended until Abiy offered to end the military standoff this year as part of a package of reforms that has reshaped the political landscape in the Horn of Africa and beyond. The two leaders also celebrated the Ethiopian New Year together with their troops at Bure before opening another border crossing point between Ethiopian border town of Zalambesa and Serha on the Eritrean side. The United States launched a blistering verbal attack on the International Criminal Court, ICC, and threatened against its judges if they proceed with a probe into alleged war crimes by Americans in Afghanistan.
Protests in the West Bank. As news filtered out, Washington was making good on its threat. National Security Advisor John Bolton made it official. The U.S. is closing the Washington office of the Palestine Liberation Organization, an effort to put pressure on Palestinians to return to the negotiating table amid stalled peace talks with Israel.
The Trump administration will not keep the office open when the Palestinians refuse to take steps to start direct and meaningful negotiations with Israel.
The threat of the mission's closure, seen by many as retaliation for actions by the Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas last year at the United Nations, calling for the investigation and prosecution of Israeli officials through the International Criminal Court. The actions enraged many in the United States who see the ICC as a body rife with abuses and an infringement on U.S. sovereignty.
And that's all for international news, but do stay with us. We'll be back shortly with business.
Watch Business Edition as we talk to business leaders and experts in sectors that are transforming Tanzania's economy.
To be rich, I have to be a business person.
It's not an easy road at all.
People need to understand. You must quickly think, how cost effective are you going to be?
Business acts as a way in which it can bridge that gap.
Business Edition will keep you informed on latest developments in the financial sector, extractive industry, tourism, agriculture, energy, construction, and so much more. Meet entrepreneurs who create employment opportunities. Watch Business Edition on Friday at 8:15 p.m.
Welcome back, and in business news. Tanzania Bureau of Standards has warned industries which have been certified to make sure they produce products which meet the required standards, as failure to do so will result in closure of their operations.
When standards are not met, then we shall go and see if the item is TBS certified. We can go to the factory and advise the manufacturer, but we shall also be issuing fines. I'm happy about this exercise as it will bring back quality, but also our customers will be happy as items sold will be TBS certified.
Entrepreneurs from Tanzania who fly with Emirates Airline for business purposes have been called on to take part in the 2020 trade fair in Dubai, which will be attended by entrepreneurs from various parts of the world.
Which will be held in United Arab Emirates in the city of Dubai. As you can see, all our aircraft has the logo of the Expo 2020, and we're looking forward welcoming the people to Dubai from around the world to participate in Expo 2020. There will be a lot of traffic towards Dubai, and which will also increase the number of tourists and the visitors for that exhibition.
The chairman of the CEO Roundtable, Sanjay Rouhani, has said that increased dialogue between the government and private sector will create an enabling environment for rapid economic growth, and that the private sector is ready to work with the government in achieving an industrial economy.
When we met before, I tried to tell you that I actually feel it's very privileged. I think it is a big task, and you know, it's not an accident. You know, over the period I worked with the board, I feel, like I said, incredibly privileged. It could have been any other Sanjay, but I really appreciate the respect and, of course, the thinking, the trust that the board has on me. I mean, clearly Tanzania is going through, you know, transformative times, and just being on the chair at this time is a task on its own. You know, it's going to be stretching, it's going to be challenging, but it's going to be exciting. You know.
And that's all for business news. Sports is next in just a bit.
Hi, my name is Kotaro Tokuda. What's up? My name is Céline Garnier.
I'm John Barnes from Liverpool Football Club. The hip hop, a hippie, the hip hop. You don't stop the rockin' to the bang bang boogie. Say up, jump the boogie to the rhythm of the boogie to beat. Now what you hear?
I'm watching Sports Gazette. I'm watching Sport Gazette.
And you're watching Sports Gazette
with Sebastian.
With Sebastian.
Peace out.
Yes! And you can also watch Sports Gazette for highlights and interviews regarding sports. Do not miss Sports Gazette every Wednesday at 7 p.m. only on Capital Television.
And on to sports news. The National Athletics Association has selected 8 athletes and 2 officials who will head to the UK to participate in the Commonwealth Half Marathon competition scheduled to start on October 7th this year in Cardiff.
We are preparing the national championships, which will take place later. But first, what we have ahead is the Half Marathon Commonwealth Games, which will take place in 7th of October in Cardiff, in the UK. Initially, all the athletes have got the invitation letters for getting visa, and we expect that up to 17th or 18th, they will go to the embassy to get visa. If everything goes well, they will travel in the 4th or 5th.
Airwing, Ruhuwiko and Gitegeme secondary schools have continued to dominate on the third day of the Forces Secondary Schools competition proceeding at the Uhuru Stadium in Dar es Salaam.
Ni wazi mpira miguu ni mpira pendwa.
It is clear soccer is loved more, so more people concentrate in soccer. But there is also a lot of people in basketball. As we proceed, people divide themselves into those who like soccer and those who like basketball. I've also seen high spirits in netball. People are cheering there as well. So I see there is a balance.
A third European club competition could be introduced alongside the Champions League and Europa League from 2021, according to the head of the Association of Europe's biggest teams.
European Club Association ECA Chairman Andrea Agnelli, who is also on UEFA's executive committee, said the green light has been given. He did not give any more details on how the tournament could be organized. The current model needs modernizing, said Agnelli, who is 42 years old. Agnelli, who is also chairman of Italian champions Juventus, said a detailed assessment of the existing international match calendar is required prior to presenting a new model post-2024. Speaking at the annual General Assembly of the ECA in Croatia, he said the third competition will increase the number of clubs involved in European football from 80 to 96. The Champions League features 32 teams in the group stage, and the second-tier Europa League has 48. The Cup Winners' Cup for domestic cup champions was scrapped in 1999. In a statement, UEFA said it is constantly reviewing the format of its competitions and is looking at a variety of options.